Good day. Um, you'll see the video later. Because I want to first of all thank God for the life, for preserving our lives so far. This is my very first broadcast on YouTube. This is the first one, and it is actually aimed at providing our viewers with the requisite knowledge on how to write research papers. Research is an integral part of every academic work that I on. It is so important that its importance cannot be overemphasized. So it is on that note that I want to start off my first broadcast on the footing of providing our viewers with the necessary knowledge on how to write a research paper. So, what is a research paper? Why is it that as academia we must know write a research paper? Why is it necessary? Why is it so? Why do we need to know how to write a research paper? This is a question that would want to come that someone very sensitive would want to ask. Well, a research paper in the first place is a document. It's a work done by a student, sometimes not a student, but an academia, somebody who had completed his degree or master's and then finds a topic, people had written something, but they could not, they could not add, fill those spaces that they are supposed to fill. So, as a student or as an academia, it becomes your responsibility to ensure that you dig into that particular thing and provide solution to that particular problem, to that particular gap, to fill in that gap. So that is why research is carried out to fill in very serious gaps in academia. For instance, if somebody had written on the relevance of fighting corruption and the development of a nation, to the development of a nation, well, the person has written something on that. If you read the person's article, there may be something very important that the person did not write anything on. So it becomes your responsibility as an academia to write something on that. So research is a process of gathering information necessary for the provision of a particular problem. That is what we call a research. And then, of course, when you talk about research, you will not, from the definition, you'll find out that research is most time tied to a problem. So when academias write their research papers, the first thing they think of is the problem statement. What is that problem that triggered the research? What is that problem that triggered the research? That is what we call the problem statement. What is it that the other person that had done a similar research did not touch? That is the problem. What is it that others have not been doing, others have not done, that you feel like it is necessary that you do, you bring out? That is what we call a research problem. So the research problem is very necessary when you talk about or when you want to embark on a research journey. It is very, very necessary. If you do not have a research problem, a very good research problem, it becomes very difficult for you to write a research paper. Okay. And then research is most times, hinged on and also methodologies. You have different methodologies that you may choose when you want to write a research paper. You have different methodologies. You will have, first of all, you may want to carry out the qualitative method, or you may want to carry out a quantitative method, or better still, you may want to combine both qualitative and quantitative, which gives you um, what you call triangular method. So the triangular method combines both the qualitative and quantitative research. That is what the triangular method does. That is what it does. So if you're doing a research, you have to look at the type of research that you're doing, and later you determine what methodology you are going to use. Okay, you're going to use. In subsequent review, you use participant observatory, you may choose to use content analysis, you may choose to use questionnaires, as the case may be. So the ones you will choose are greatly determined, are highly determined by the 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 type of research you're doing. You cannot be talking about a qualitative research and you go in for statistical analysis. No, qualitative research. Oh, no. But if you want to use a quantitative research, you can do that. You can also use questionnaires. Of course, questionnaires can be used for both qualitative and quantitative, depending on the format of questions, the type of questions you provide. If you have open-ended questions, then you may use a qualitative, you may use the answers and analyze them, which brings you to what we call qualitative research. Better still, you may use a closed-ended questions where you give the person strange range of options like very important, important, neutral, not important, and less important, something like that. You have five ranges, and then the number of people that select this, you calculate them, and it provides your answer. They find it in the form of figure, and that gives you what you call quantitative research. So the questionnaire can be used for both. And most times, researchers normally use questionnaires when they want to use what we call, when they want to embark on what we call a triangular research. So you can also choose to use a triangular to carry out a triangular research. Okay, a triangular research, which is a combination of both quantitative and qualitative research methods. Okay, and again, when you are doing a research, another thing you should not forget is that your research should always have research questions or hypotheses. Some schools of thought may not use research questions. They may not use research questions. Others may use research questions. There are some people they will combine both research questions and hypotheses. Yes, the hypotheses are actually the conclusions you draw before you embark on research. So you may want to say, you may want to hypothesize before you start the research. You say, like, let's say, for instance, the effect of corruption on the political on political stability in Sierra Leone. Let's say that's your topic, and if that's your topic, it becomes apparent that you would hypothesize that corruption has contributed to political instability in the country. That will be your hypothesis. Okay, some people may not want to use hypotheses, but they may use research questions. So you may ask, you may say, what impact has corruption had on and the political stability of Sierra Leone? That could be your research question. Okay, so the research questions are most times tied to the research objectives. The hypotheses are most times also tied to the research objectives. So if you have four research questions, make sure you have 4 hypotheses. If you have 4 research questions, make sure you have 4 hypotheses. So if the hypotheses do not, sorry, objectives, 4 research questions, 4 objectives. If the objectives do not align with the research questions, you're going to find it very difficult when finding the variables of your research. You see? So that's another thing you should know. And then, of course, every research paper for academic purpose may say use the past tense. Okay. And then again, there are some things that you will include in research proposal that you cannot include in your chapter 1, because in your research proposal it is expected that you tell the supervisor what and what will be included, what technique, what research tools you'll be using in the research process to gather your data. That one is a title, is a whole chapter in your dissertation. So it should not be included in the first part, say, sorry, of your dissertation, chapter 1. No, but it should be included in your research proposal. Okay, and also a summary of what, in the research proposal, you will also include what we call the chapterization. Is it chapterization whatsoever? Some schools call it chapterization, some call it chapter summary. So you say, chapter 1 of my research will do this, chapter 2 will do this, chapter 3. Yes, but in your dissertation, you don't include that. You don't include that. Okay, so now, having said that, it is worthy to note that your first chapter is a second version, a renewed version of your research proposal. The chapter 2 is the literature review. The literature review is the most important. To me, it's one, no, well, it's not the most important, because you have to present your findings and recommendations, which is, to me, the most important. Yeah. So the literature review is another very important aspect of your research paper. Okay, this is the second chapter. So what you should do in this chapter is to find published works, is to find other people's works on the topic that you have chosen. Remember, you're not the only person that has begun writing something on this topic. Others had written something on it. It may not be exactly the same. It may not be exactly the same. But remember that they may have said something that has something to do with your research paper. And if that's the thing, please ensure that you find other writers' work. And when you present their findings, please do not present them like you are taking it from them. Okay, we have what we call academic plagiarism. When you plagiarize somebody's work, that is the biggest academic. In the subsequent videos, I will definitely explain how to write, how to do your referencing. And then the referencing takes 2 forms. You have the in-text citation, which is what you do when you write your research, your literature review. So you may want to use, maybe you're not the person that provided definition for politics. Different people had provided definition for politics. So if you want to use their definition, you must give them credit. So let's say, for instance, Ibrahim Koroma has defined politics as the game of the wicked. Let's say that is my definition. Politics is the game of the wicked. And you want to use that definition in your write-up. You will not just come and write, politics is the game of the wicked, as if it were you that provided the definition. No. If you do that, we have committed what we call academic theft. So you can reference me. You can say 30 2023 or Ibrahim 2023. Okay, I'll teach you how to do that when it is taken from a book written by two people, by three people, by more people. Okay, by a corporate author, I'll tell you how to reference them in subsequent videos. And then after the literature review, make sure you discuss all your variables review. It is very necessary. Most times we don't want to do that. We just want to present anyhow. And when we do that, we miss it. We miss it. We miss it completely. Okay. So you have to learn as well how to do your bibliography. Those in-text citations that you have done are not full referencing. So now, in the bibliography aspect of your research, this is where you have to tell your reader, okay, that book that that person whose name you used in the in-text citation, hmm, you have to tell us what book has he written, what's the title of his book, where did he write it, when was the book published, okay, who is the publisher? If it is an online site, where is the link to the online site? When did you access it? Okay. If it is a journal, what is the name of the journal? What edition? Is it the first edition, the second edition, and what issue? And it, as the case may be. Okay. So you will learn that in subsequent videos. After the chapter 2, chapter 3, you have to discuss your methodology. Okay, the methodology is normally not long. This is where you discuss the methods you will use to collect your data. Okay, to collect your data. Okay, the data are most times collected using different methods. Like I stated earlier, you may use questionnaire depending on the type of research you're doing. Is it qualitative? Is it quantitative? Is it triangular? That is also very key. Okay, so after this, the chapter 3, as like I said, is normally not long. You come to chapter 4. Chapter 4 is very, 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 very important because this is where you present your findings, presentation of finding and data analysis. That is what you do in chapter 4. Chapter 4, you present your findings. So the questions, the questionnaires that you administered, the responses that you got from whether corruption has contributed to the backwardness of your country or not, based on the responses you get. So make sure you reach out to the people. If you're doing an interview, make sure you select this right set of people to be interviewed. Don't just choose people like you want. No, of course, we have random sampling, which is, yeah, a system. Anyway, we'll learn all of this as we go along. So don't just choose people like you feel like just like that. No, select people. We have what we call um okay, I'll tell you later. Um, Purposive research. You do your selection based on a particular purpose, a specific purpose. Yeah. So it is the people you select must be relevant to the achievement of your objectives. So don't just, if you are discussing politics, don't go and choose people that bringing out the effects of corruption on the progress of a nation. Don't go and choose people that know nothing about corruption. No, you have to select people that are really, really key. You can choose to interview the head of the anti-corruption in your county. He's a relevant stakeholder. Okay, you can choose heads of institutions. You can choose to interview judges and so on and so forth. You can even choose to interview the ordinary man. This ordinary man must be somebody that is well informed. Okay, because some people may say because this man has said I should interview the ordinary man, they will go choose a madman. What will a madman offer? Anyway, that's just fun. So you see, you try to find the right people to be interviewed. Okay. And when presenting your findings, make sure you present them in the right manner. Don't allow biases to infringe into your findings. Okay? Don't allow biases to infringe into your findings. Some people allow their personal biases to determine the outcome of their research. When that one is done, you don't have, you cannot boast of any good research. So you see, so that's another thing we must learn. Okay. And of course, if you're doing a qualitative research, you will expect some charts, okay, while analyzing your data. If you're using, sorry, a quantitative research, we expect some charts. If it is a qualitative research, we expect words to interpret your findings. That is also very necessary. Some people don't want to do that. They don't pay attention to that. And if you do not pay attention to that part, test your hypothesis. If you use hypothesis in that chapter 4, you test your hypothesis. That is also something I will explain in subsequent videos. Okay, how do you test your hypothesis? And after that, the last chapter, you present now your major findings. What are the findings? Did your research tell you that corruption is inimical to the progress of the country? If it does, then you say, from my findings, from my research, I found out that this. You make a summary and you draw your conclusion. That is it. If you, I know the live, this video may be too fast, but just be informed that this is my first video. I will save it and I expect you guys to please comment when you see the video. Tell me what you do not understand and evaluate the very first video. Then I will use those evaluations to correct my mistakes. Okay? Thank you. In this next live, I will definitely have some people that will join me. I am Ibrahim Koroma. I am a student of the University of Szeged in Hungary, and I am pursuing a master's degree in international relations. Thank you very much.